One of the biggest challenges you have when you own a rental property is making sure that the property is maintained and that the tenant stays happy. I'm Steve Rosenberg with Mind Property Management, and today I'm here with Jeff DeDios, who is with product development for Mind Property Management, and we're going to dig into how Mind handles the resident retention of dealing with maintenance repairs, and everything that goes along with it. So, Jeff, thank you for joining me today. I've got a question. So why would you say it's important that you get the maintenance and repairs done correctly?
Yeah, so, maintenance is really important because, at Mind, one of the things that we try to instill in our teams is to protect the owner's bottom line. So we try to treat and spend an owner's money like it's our own. So there's a lot of things that you can do to avoid costly repairs. One thing that we do here at Mind is preventative maintenance. In order to protect your investment from damage and neglect, you want to try to catch problems and issues while they're still small and relatively cheap to fix. So I think one good example of this is like a dirty air filter is like one of the number one reasons for HVAC failures. This is like a simple check that you can do. A $30 to $40 air filter can end up saving you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 down the road. There's other things that you can do. Check for leaks in the kitchen, frozen pipes, cleaning out the garbage disposal. So, one thing that we do at Mind is we go through these annual inspections where we're checking these small issues before they become big issues. And another thing that we've actually been experimenting with is giving residents maintenance tasks to do. So as part of a resident's lease, it's actually in there that they have to, maintain your home, giving them these maintenance tasks where we provide them different tasks that they do on some frequent basis. And we give them step-by-step instructions on how to complete these simple activities. And again, the idea here is let's catch these issues while they're small and relatively cheap to fix before they become these like huge, big money sucks.
Yeah, and I think a couple things you hit on that I think are important. Number one, setting the proper expectation with the resident so that they know that there are going to be things that they are going to be responsible for, that they are expected to take care of. And if you do that in the beginning and you let them know this is your responsibility and we will help you, that's key. And I think the second thing that's important is you touched on it, is the preventative part. And unless you have a property that the air conditioning goes out on 4th of July weekend like they normally do, and now you have the mental stress of dealing with an upset resident, you still have the air conditioning out, and all of this could have been avoided. You're going to pay more money during a stressful time. You're going to mentally take the hit, and now it's going to be a bad experience all the way around when, as you said, just being consistent and changing the air filter could be the key to not even dealing with this. What are some ways that you can avoid costly repairs out there?
Yeah, so one other interesting thing that we do is this concept of virtual maintenance. So kind of in this like weird era that we're in of COVID, we've also been experimenting with a lot of virtual maintenance. I mean, even before COVID happened, but this has kind of like accelerated it and we've gotten a lot better adoption on it. So basically, there's a couple things that we do in terms of virtual maintenance. If we get a service request in and we see that this is something like, hey, in most cases, like residents want to be able to like help themselves. So if we see a service request that comes in where we've identified a certain set of issues that a resident can solve themselves, essentially we have either a library of videos or instructional step-by-step guides to help them through these issues. On top of that, we kind of take it a little bit further, and it's the equivalent of a FaceTime call, but we'll actually jump on a call with the resident and they can actually point their phone at the issue, show us what it is, and we have a team that will actually go through and walk them through how to fix that issue step by step. Obviously, if you don't have to send out either one of our maintenance techs or a vendor to go out there, you're saving a ton of money, and the residents are super happy because they were able to fix it themselves.
And so how does Mind help to avoid the cost of some of these high repairs?
In terms of the like high repair issues, we have an extensive network of vendors. Everybody knows that it's reliable vendors that provide quality work are very difficult to find. Our vendors actually go through an extensive kind of vetting process where we've set forth kind of like these service level agreements in our handbook where there's an expectation of the quality of work that they do. So essentially, vendors are an extension of Mind. They're expected to provide this high level of quality service. And, from our operations at scale, we're able to get some of the best prices for these like high cost repairs. And through our data analysis, we try to analyze, understand, and make the best decisions possible using the information that we have. We operate in several different states across multiple markets, and we've done a ton of different service requests. So we have an understanding of the various costs of items, so we can make sure that the vendors are charging us the appropriate cost at what's market level. And again, kind of that operations at scale, we're able to get those prices down just by giving vendors a ton of work, and they're reciprocating by providing us some good prices.
All of this is to keep a resident in the property, renting the property, and obviously with as little turnover as possible. What does Mind do to help ensure that resident retention for the owner?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we try to provide the residents with this delightful or awesome experience. To do that, we across a lot of our stakeholders, we have different applications that we provide these different stakeholders. So obviously one of them are residents, and we actually have a mobile app as well as a desktop app for residents where they can go in there, easily submit service requests, and there's like full transparency on what's happening. There's a lot of mobile apps out there right now, and there's kind of this expectation that there's a lot of data and information that's available to somebody. So in that same kind of breath, we have this resident app where when they submit a service request, they can track it through the entire life cycle, from the time they submit it to the time that it's scheduled to the time that it gets completed. All that information is available to that resident. That's easily tracked. And again, it all comes down to this whole customer service aspect and providing them with the best service possible. Two core values here at Mind is like be mindful and earn trust. And great customer service is a big part of that. So again, it really comes down to providing great service and transparency. And with this, we have happy residents. Happy residents are more likely to renew their lease, which ends up again, saving owners money and protecting their bottom line.
Now, you mentioned transparency. How does Mind let the resident as well as the owner see what's going on during the process? Is there a way for them to see this?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, so we do have applications among all of our stakeholders. So if you think about what happens or all the people that are involved when a service request is submitted, we have residents, we have owners, we have vendors, and obviously there's us as the management team. So we already talked a little bit about residents, but for owners, anytime a service request comes in, they're also able to track this information. So they can see what issues are going on at my home, how much is it costing me, and are these issues getting fixed in a timely manner? So all that information is available to them. On the vendor side, we also have a vendor portal. And one of the purposes of this vendor portal is make it super easy for vendors to work with us. So we can give them a ton of work. It's really easy for them to organize all the work that's given to them. And again, talking about the service level agreements, there's basic things that we track in the service request lifecycle. So the vendor can schedule work orders with residents directly in our portal. They can also submit their invoices and get paid really quickly. And again, it comes down to just working with Mind and having full transparency on everything that's going on, visible to everybody involved.
Yeah, that's great. And so this just to summarize this is, if you're going to choose a property management company, you want to make sure that, number one, they have your best interest top of mind. They have your residents' best interest top of mind, and they're doing everything they can to be a partner and be transparent to help this process ease along, because that can be a very frustrating time when you have a property that has maintenance. And so if you'd like to know more and you want to talk to us at Mind, we'd be happy to talk to you. You can click on our website down below. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you and see if Mind is the right partner for you. So on behalf of Jeff, myself, and Mind Property Management, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.